Welcome back to our continuing series of Center Stage with ICS Theatre, where we are talking to some of the movers and shakers of ICS Theatre who have nurtured and tended to our baby from its formative years. Because of the early efforts of these individuals, ICST was in good hands from its conception. Please join me in welcoming our first ICST Guidance Committee members, Devjani Banerjee, Mazhar Sadikot, Shailendra Khurana, and Sanjay Kriplani, and of course, our first artistic director, Barkha Krishna. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to Center Stage with ICS Theatre.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
everyone.
Okay, so let's get right to it. And my first question is more towards the artistic director, the past artistic director. How did this whole thing get started once ICS Theatre was formed? How did it come about that there was a need to have a sort of a
Okay.
guidance or advisory?
Yeah. Well, we started with Tartuffe, like everybody knows, and we thought it would be like a one-time deal. Okay, so we did Tartuffe and, we're done. But then we did repeat shows of Tartuffe. And then the whole team was, everybody who had acted in Tartuffe was very excited and they wanted another play. And, that's how we went into our second year. But to be able to do any repeat shows, all of these guys were gung-ho about it. And they did all the work and helped. And it was like, fun. It was a lot of fun. And we started putting up more shows. And obviously we needed people to do the work. It's a lot of work. And they all kind of took on whatever their specialties were. So it worked like a charm. And there was a time when we used to call ourselves Hum Panch, if you remember, right? So that's how it started, with the enthusiasm of everybody.
And just that there was no Shakuni Mama. We were just Hum Panch.
Huh.
Great, great, awesome. So now from you guys, what were some of the early tasks that you guys were like had to jump in and take on? And were there any that surprised you? Like, were there any surprises like, oh my God, how do I do this?
Well, I'll chime in. So when I first came to ICST, in fact, before coming to ICST, I was working with another theater group, Epic Actors, and I was doing a lot of like backstage activities and helping with sound and other stuff like that. So when I first came here, I didn't come with any expectation, and I was not part of Tartuffe, right? I think everybody else was. So I came in just to see like the final rehearsal in Barkhaji's basement, to my surprise, everybody thought I was someone from the theater where it was being performed or something. People didn't know who I was, but I enjoyed that final rehearsal, and then that was like my first interaction with ICST. And rest, as we all say, rest is history. It's not history. For me, that was like my first interaction with ICST, and from that day on, I saw how everybody was jumping in, doing anything and everything that was required to make the show a success. And I just went with the flow, and I was like, okay, tell me what do you want me to do, I'll do it. Doesn't matter whether it's on stage, off stage, backstage, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Great, great. Anyone else?
So mine happened actually similar. Barkha had asked me to MC for SATF, and there were like a whole panel of people sitting. I remember I was like, and I had done vernacular, like Bengali plays, but I had not done Hindi or English. And SATF, I had known some people, but had not seen the inner workings. And I think Barkha was leading the SATF program that year. And so that's how it started. And then Tartuffe happened. And we were, like Barkha said, we were so pumped up because to be honest, the first thing that came to mind is this is something that has put the theater, as in, opened it to the all of India, in the sense we were not doing Hindi, we were not doing Bangla or Telugu, which a lot of theater companies were doing. So this was an opportunity for us to call ourselves. And I remember Barkha used to say, why do you love this theater company? I said, is there a way we can call ourselves theater company? Because that's how we saw it in the American theater companies. So I was like, ICS Theatre Company, that's the vision we had. Like, it's going to be very professional, what we do, the legalities, the logic. Of course, it took time because we tumbled and we found ourselves sometimes diving deep and sinking and then coming up for air. But that's how I got into it. And I was doing marketing and PR and the FB. So all these things seemed easy because two things happened. Theater is what I loved, and then there was an opportunity to promote what I genuinely believed. And so it wasn't work because we were all so excited. We were acting. So that was how it began, and that's the kind of role that I played the pretty much the 7 years, that I was actively with I mean, I'm still with ICS Theatre, but
Of course.
the planning, the guidance committee. Yeah.
Great, great. So, what were some of the challenges that you guys faced initially? Like something that really threw you on for a loop. Was there anything that happened in the early days?
I don't think challenges, at least from my side, we didn't think too much. If something was needed, it just got done. I don't know from where the musicians came and how Shri started doing the props. It just all happened. So yeah, they could have been challenges, but it didn't seem that way at
But it
that
was
time.
more like a success story.
Yeah.
In fact, every challenge was more like an opportunity, like when we started doing that Ek Ruka Hua Fest, I forgot the name of that play, but the one which we did in English, which was
Silence.
Silence.
12 angry jurors.
Oh,
when we
12
did
angry
that
jurors.
12 angry
landmarks.
jewelers.
12
we went,
incompetent jurors is what.
Incompetent.
Farce.
so for that, the theater where we went was like, it was kind of a loft or a theater, God knows it, but how we reached there, how the audience came and they liked it, so it's slowly everything which we felt as a challenge was an opportunity leading us to something new and discovering and becoming more finer and finer along the way, it was like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, looking for 100 crates. I
Oh,
mean, it just happened.
And this, how, of course, to Barkha's credit, I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of phone calls made, and, there's the best part was, I think, in this group, we were shouldering it with equal enthusiasm. And I think that's where the magic happened.
Absolutely.
The
Yes.
leader can only tell you that, hey, I'm thinking, but if the others are not following equally, and that was the charm that, I felt Shailendra and Sanjay to Samek were the calmer ones. Sometimes the three of us would like, this is how it needs to be done. These two never lost. Mazhar was the balancing act. Barkha and I were like, I don't think this is. And I remember one time Barkha was like, I don't think this is going to work. Because there's also time commitment to doing it and thinking through this. And that's when we decided that if we can demarcate the roles, like, hey buddy, you go do venues, Shailendra, you search. So I think that's how it evolved, that hey, the IT part needed care, the production, Mazhar was helping, and then Barkha could say, you know what, I'm going to breathe and look at other aspects. And I felt that's how the thing evolved, as to
Absolutely.
take
Yes.
on the. I remember we sat down and said, you know what, this is haphazard. It's like, it's too much. At the same time, we are excited, but to accomplish, we need to know what I'm doing. So we had our deliverables. And so it's very much like a corporate or a non-profit structure. And I felt that kind of got us on a rhythm to take us forward.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
And of course,
remember I would send a message at 10:30 in the night, guys, we need to talk. 11 o'clock, we would be on a call, sitting in a
And
parking lot at
2:30
Chicago
a.m.
Airport. Yes, 2:30 a.m. Trying
2:30
to figure
a.m. we
out.
were deciding Lorca's play, and we were like, and the best thing was about butting heads, to have the freedom to say, you know what, this is my theater company. We're all working, so we would speak our minds, because at the end we knew that what was happening there wouldn't, we could still have a drink, and she would come and stay with my son. But the night before, we had fought so bad, like, I'm done, this is done. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, you need to do it. You
Yeah.
cannot be like, oh my God, you're right.
No,
and because
Any
you are all working for a common goal, obviously.
absolutely.
That was
And
your
the
purpose
crazy
was
hours. Imagine 2:30 a.m. We're still not decided. Is it Lorca's? We're reading the play, not under, brain has stopped. Like, literally, and this is Lorca, because we have to tell Mahesh that, okay, we read, we think this, that. There was a reading committee, etc. And I'm thinking at 2 o'clock, I can't read, and I don't know what I'm reading. So this was one of the events I remember that night so clearly.
as a
one thing our SD taught us, that if we say it is not possible, why not? If there was any justification to why not, then there was, okay, how can we make this why not into a possibility? So there was no option of saying why it is not possible. It has
मगर
to be
क्यों नहीं कर सकते, right?
exactly क्यों नहीं कर सकते, और क्यों नहीं कर सकते, तो उसको करने के लिए क्या क्या करना
क्या
है.
करना है?
So it was
और उसके
it was
लिए,
never an option.
yeah, for that you all were there. How do we do it? Have a very good enthusiastic team. So
Things
yeah, it
just,
was wonderful. It's,
yeah,
we
yeah.
are here now because of them. Their hard work. Serious. I mean, if we were not together, there's no way this
And
would have happened.
yeah, Shailendra.
really, yeah, I think everybody felt really, wonderful once we accomplished things that we did. For instance, the very first off Broadway show, we performed on a off Broadway theater. That was, at least for me, it was very, very exciting. Performing it in New York City, which is where all these big shows happen. For me, that was really a great, accomplishment. So I think all that, whatever Johnny was talking about, having late night calls and all that. But once you're there on stage, you felt great because you forgot about everything. I mean, we had to figure out how we're gonna get food into the theater, or how we're gonna feed this 100 people across the street. Nobody knows any places in New York City. So all that sort of, once everything worked out, I think that felt great. And that, I personally feel that those were some of those milestones that made me feel that, okay, that time was really worth spent. It's not just being on stage, it's about everything that we really were able to do is what made me feel really accomplished. It's, I mean, on stage was, because it doesn't mean that I'm going to get casted in every play, right? It didn't matter. It was about what we actually did, and what we what we gave to our audience is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And just
And
to
in the
add
end,
on
it was
this,
all worth it.
oh yeah, so true. And just to add on what Shailendra said, the
Yeah.
plays that we did that in New York City, going on the stage was a challenge. There was a small behind alley. We had to touch each other to make sure we are in the line, right, where we have to come on the stage for a performance. So literally, we were just making sure, okay, if I know Shailendra is, I'm touching him to make sure Shailendra is there, right? It was such a small alley there to just come on the stage to act.
And
So
dark.
oh, and dark, exactly. It was dark, completely dark. So these kind of things, like I always say, it was fun. And then, as you said, everybody works together to make it achieve,
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
I mean,
Also, we did go ahead and apply for a Middlesex County grant, which was just wonderful. And we don't have her here today with us, but Gayatri Desai became very much part of the team 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
And she had written up our first grant. She was a big
She was the one who
she was
said, guys,
instrumental.
I have figured out we can get a grant, outside
But
of
we used to,
ICS.
yeah, we used to get the grants from other people who were supporting
Also
us with their grant.
ICS, we were thinking that we would need that. So she, the
Yeah.
literature gets very confusing, right? You have to decipher exactly what path. And it always helps when, you have team members coming in and then taking ownership.
Of that, right? So she started the grants, and wonderful, we are we've continued with the grants
Right.
and we still get them
Right.
to date. So
True. True.
Are there any other memories you guys have from, especially from the travels? Because I know in the initial days, you guys had a lot of plays that you guys took all over the country in different places.
I was about to say
Anahita,
that.
how much
I mean,
time do you have then?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
no, I was
Sir.
about to say that for me, that was another very, very exciting, time when we actually did take our shows around, not just within the US, we even traveled to India, right? And not just India, even we went to Nepal, we did,
that
so we
was
went
not
all
with
over the place. So we did,
not with
right,
ICS
right.
Theatre.
But still,
That was yeah.
yeah, that's right. But that aspect of taking it to places, for me, that really did something. It was not just performing once or twice in New Jersey, but when we did it, when we took it around, around the country, at least, Boston and wherever else, that for me did something, made me feel like it was another level that we reached by taking it, because we were getting invited to these festivals, right? So that really did something for me. It was the same show. We probably have done it like two or three times, but when we did it in another venue where we are actually being, we are the guest, so it made us, I don't know, for me, it made us feel really good that because that they saw something what we are performing and they wanted to take it to their audience, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, one time in Ohio, when we were driving, we were almost going to go into the sea or whatever, what was there, right? Into the lake, because we were following the GPS. It was dark. It says go ahead. And when we come there, there is just water. Remember, Sanjay, we were all of us, the whole cast was in that. And we are like, where are we going?
Following the GPS. Yeah.
That's
was
the
fun.
after show party. Yeah.
Yeah, no, travel is always fun. Yeah, it's fun doing
The
live the
bonding
way there
and the
and
bonding. It's like
and the
backstage
bonding.
now,
Yeah,
backstage for 5 days.
yeah.
I feel like that was the best, different personalities. Somebody didn't want to be bothered, and somebody wanted to blast music, but we kind of cohabited that bus and happily made it to
And
the.
I think so, Mr. Dattani heard those songs which he must have never heard in his life when he was playing Antakshar. He must have
And
never
And
heard.
Mahesh should be listening to this because he
He was,
knows we mentioned he was in the
yeah.
front of the bus and blasting Bollywood going on. And then he says, so what other songs do you well, this is the ride. You have to just, brave this. So that was like, he was probably only listening to classical or the certain very curated Bollywood. And here, the current Bollywood songs were all blasting. So yeah, that was quite a, experience.
Okay, great. This was a fun little reunion chat, and I'm really glad I got to be a part of it. So thank you so much to all of you for spending this time with us today, and thank you for devoting your valuable time and efforts in providing leadership and guidance and direction to ICS Theatre in its early
right.
days.
I just want
We're
to say
so
one thing,
glad
Anait.
that you were able
Right.
to attend to
Right.
our little baby with your steady hand. So thank you again to all of you
Anaita,
for
one thing I want to say, it is like
Yes.
this, especially for Barkha, I will say. There is a saying, and it's in Hindi, I'll say it. अकेला चला था मंजिल की ओर लोग मिलते गए कारवां बढ़ता गया. So this is
Bilkul.
exactly what has happened in this 10
Yeah.
years.
True.
Barkha had started with something. We also didn't know where we were, how we are, or where we are.
Yeah.
We all just came together under Barkha's leadership and guidance. We just kept on going, and just people kept on coming. And today, here we are at 10 years with so many people, new actors on stage, off stage, everybody. So it's a great thing. And I'm sure this
Yep.
Karwa will keep on going more and more and more.
Hmm.
Hopefully.
Thank you, BK, for everything.
Yep.
And
Thank
And I'm sure
you.
this,
So,
yeah, thank you.
Thanks to all of you.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone. This has been a great journey, and I certainly hope that this journey continues, and then the current PC and whoever the future PC is going to be can, learn from this and then, make the best of it, right? And of course, they'll do wonders. Best of luck.
And thank
Yeah.
you, Anahita, for bringing us together, and best wishes to ICS Theatre. We're still here, very much here, and glad to be part of this journey then and now, and looking to stay with ICS Theatre. We're not going anywhere. So, yeah.
Celebrating milestones together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
ICS and
absolutely,
ICS Theatre.
absolutely.
So Congratulations, Debjani.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
Alright.
on that
Sanaita.
note, thank you so much again to everybody. And here's to many more milestones to come.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Alright. Thank you.